Read more from The Courage to Heal. This is about CSA, and this specific part has a lot to do with memory recovery for people who had previously repressed their memories. Few survivors feel that they have control over their memories. Many feel memories have control of them, and that they do not choose the time and place a new memory will emerge. You may be able to fight them off for a time, but the price, such as headaches, nightmares, and exhaustion, is not worth staving off the inevitable. Not everyone will know a memory is starting, but many survivors do get warnings, a certain feeling or a series of feelings that clue them in. Your stomach might get tight, you may sleep poorly, have frightening dreams, or you may be warned in other ways. A survivor anecdote says, I always know when they're coming. I get very tense. I get very scared. I get snappy at things that ordinarily wouldn't make me angry. I get sad. Usually it's anger and anxiety and fear that come first. I have a choice. It's a real conscious choice. It's either I want it or I don't want it. And I said I don't want it a lot. And when I did that, I would just get sicker and sicker, and I'd get more depressed. I'd get angry irrationally. Now I don't say I don't want it. It's not worth it to me. My body seems to need to release it. The more I heal, the more I see these memories are literally stored in my body and they've got to get out. Otherwise, I'm going to carry them forever. Remembering over time. Sometimes when you've resolved one group of memories, another will make its way to the surface. I'm going to skip around a little bit. Somebody said that they ended up recovering memories from multiple instances of multiple people, and that their experience was that they remembered the easiest experience of abuse and the easiest perpetrator first, and it took longer for the worst memories to come. They go on to say, for a long time I felt worse than the initial memories should have made me feel. So remembering the rest of the abuse was actually one of the most grounding things to happen. My life suddenly made sense once I had remembered the worst of it. It says, the impact new memories have will shift over time. One woman who is getting new memories for the past 10 years said that remembering for her has become harder over time. She says, my first flood of memories came when I was 25. The memories I get now are like fine-tuning, more details, more textures. Even though there was more of a feeling of shock and catharsis at first, remembering is harder now. I believe them now, and it hurts more. I have the emotions and I feel the impact more. I can see how it's affected my life. It gives another anecdote of somebody else saying that new memories get harder, but then it goes on to say, other survivors say that memories have gotten easier to handle. This anecdote says, as I've come to terms with the fact that I was abused, new pictures, new incidents, they don't have the same impact. The battle of believing that it happened is not one that I have to fight each time another piece falls into place. Once I had a framework to fit new memories into, my recovery time got much faster. While my first memories overwhelmed me for weeks, now I might only cry for 10 minutes or feel depressed for an hour or so. It's not that I don't have new memories, it's just that they don't devastate me as much anymore. And new memories don't take anything away from the healing you've already done. Paradoxically, you are already healing from the effects of things that you have yet to remember. The essential truth of memory. Memories of CSA can be exceedingly accurate. In situations where abusers are willing to relate their version of the events, the abuser's story often matches the survivor's memory quite closely. Also, when siblings or other family members share something that they witnessed, there is often a striking correlation. And when the abuser is outside the family, other victims of the same perpetrator frequently report remarkably similar abuse stories. Memories of CSA, like other more ordinary memories, are not totally objective recordings of what took place and are likely to exhibit some degree of distortion. The sequence of events may be rearranged, or multiple incidents might be telescoped into a single instance. Sometimes the way you experience the abuse leads to distortions. A common example is in the description of size. A small child may remember the abuser as being huge. A similar thing with certain body parts may be distorted in size. One survivor who was abused by a teacher remembered that the school was enormous, with extremely high ceilings and wide corridors. When she went back to the school as an adult, she was shocked at how small it actually was. This is going into some kind of graphic detail here. Another survivor originally thought that she had been abused with a lollipop. When she went to her parents and told them what she was remembering, they reminded her that she had been abused by her pediatrician during routine appointments. At the end of each visit, he had given her a lollipop. Even though this woman had talked about the abuse as a child, and even though her parents had responded appropriately and reported it, she had forgotten the abuse entirely. It wasn't until she was an adult in therapy trying to make sense of these images of lollipops and the flashes of a certain location of pain that she started to remember. Sometimes distortion in survivors' memory works as a shield against more disturbing memories. It gives an example of somebody temporarily thought one person had abused them and it ended up being somebody closer to them. So it would be less painful to think it had been somebody else than it actually was. Though inaccuracies may exist in your memory, you can still work with what you remember as an indicator of what you felt and experienced. One survivor related that she remembered her abuser putting a knife up her, but she went on to explain that she actually didn't think that was what happened. There was no blood, no scarring. As a child, she had assumed that he had used a knife that way. However, from a child's perspective, the feeling was so painful that it may have felt like that, and that in her mind that was the way to make sense of it, when it was really a finger. The way that these women worked with their memories is a good model. It's okay to shift your understanding of your childhood as you incorporate new information and learn more. Discovering, understanding, and integrating your past is an ongoing part of the healing process. I'm kind of out of time, so I will do but I don't have any memories in a future video.